Okay, let's get to the talking points memo, ideology and Imus. Predictably, the far left is going nuts over the dismissal of Don Imus because he gave some of them a platform. So now the far left loons are targeting broadcasters they hate, like me. New York Times columnist Frank Rich, the ultimate smear merchant, says I called Mexicans wetbacks. He got that from a dishonest far left website and reported it as fact. But the truth is that on February 6, 2003, I said this in a discussion about putting the National Guard on the border and saving Mexican lives. Quote, I've talked to the commanders and they tell me, look, you deploy us down there, we stop the drug traffic dead. We stop it dead. They're not even going to try. We'd save lives because Mexican wetbacks, whatever you want to call them, the coyotes, they're not going to try to do what they're doing now, all right? So people are not going to die in the desert, unquote. That analysis was specifically about dealing with drug and people smugglers and a plea to stop needless death. But Frank Rich will never tell you that because he is not intellectually honest. This stuff is also disseminated by Washington Post TV writer Howard Kurtz, whom I spoke with today on The Radio Factor. In the context of what this is, and that was, obviously I misspoke. I was looking for the word coyotes. Mm-hmm. Is that a slur to you, Howard Kurtz?
I did not think that you were deliberately trying to insult the Mexican people, if that's what you're asking.
Thank you for your honesty. Frank Rich and other gutter snipes who are peddling this garbage know what Howard Kurtz just said is true. But they don't care because they are haters. Rich is the poster boy for the decline of the New York Times. But even worse is the shameful Rosie O'Donnell, a first-rate hater, whose anti-American diatribes put her and her employer, the Disney Company, in a disgraceful position. Here's what O'Donnell said today in conversation with Barbara Walters.
Bill O'Reilly has not made racist remarks. Political opinions.
Bill O'Reilly has not made racist remarks. He called Mexicans wetbacks. That's a racist remark. Wetbacks.
Okay. Now, in my opinion, O'Donnell is single-handedly besmirching ABC's reputation, and it is sad to watch. It is also instructive to note that O'Donnell, Frank Rich, and other far-left propagandists have no criticism at all of Al Franken and his bankrupt Air America crew, which spewed hate 24/7. If the defamation is directed at traditionalists or conservatives, left-wing smear merchants are all for it. As for Imus, he shouldn't have been fired. He should have been suspended for 6 months. America is a country that believes in redemption. The man apologized. He should have been given another chance. The cold truth is that extremists on both sides are much more dangerous to this country than people like Don Imus. That is the cold truth. And that's the memo. Now for the Impact segment tonight. Former Congressman Tom DeLay also got blasted by Rosie O'Donnell today.
I think we're in dangerous territory when people like Tom DeLay, a man of high moral standards, when people like Tom DeLay want me to be fired for my political opinions, that's a dangerous state of affairs here in democracy.
All right. Tom DeLay's new book is called No Retreat, No Surrender, and he joins us now from Houston. I'm sorry you had to be insulted by that woman. I think she's now obviously out of control, and ABC's got a big problem. If you were the CEO of the Disney Company, Michael Iger, what would you do?
Well, the first thing I'd do is call her in and tell her that anything she says has to be backed up and justified. Then I'd find somebody to put on the program opposite her so that they can hold her accountable. That's what this is all about. I write about this in the book, Bill. I've been through 11 years of these kinds of attacks, the criminalization of politics, the coordination of media with these left-wing groups and people like Rosie O'Donnell, destroying your character. It's not good enough anymore to defeat somebody politically or vilify them publicly. They've got to carpet bomb you and drive you from office, disgrace, bankrupt, and your family destroyed. That's what this is all about. We saw it with Don Imus, with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, and now I'm calling on conservatives to stand up and fight for once and go after Rosie O'Donnell, not for censoring her, but holding her accountable for the outrageous things that she says that are either not truthful or not backed up by facts.
Well, you did say she should be fired, did you not? And it's Robert Iger, by the way. Robert Iger is the CEO. Well, I'm not understanding. You say you don't want to censor her. You want to put somebody on the desk to balance her out. But now you're saying you want to fire her. Which is it?
Well, if she continues this, I meant to say that after she's been warned and she continues, then yes, she should be fired. And people around the country should not allow her to use the public airwaves for her diatribes and her screeds.
See, I wouldn't fire her, but I would do what you suggest and put someone else on the desk that, you know, would be a like a truth police person. Because what Miss O'Donnell does, and you also pinpointed this, is she takes the far left garbage, like the wetback comment, totally out of context. Obviously, that was not meant to besmirch anyone. It was meant to describe what the smuggling industry is down there. And I just used the wrong word for coyote. And anybody reading that transcript, as Howard Kurtz said, would know that. But she doesn't care about that. She basically cares about venting her hatred. Now, it looks like she hates her country because she's, you know, the 9/11 conspiracy stuff, we trumped up the Iran kidnapping thing to start another war, all of these things. And she certainly hates you and I. I guess she perceives us as, you know, some kind of evil ideologues. But I still wouldn't censor her, sir, because I'm getting to the point now where I'm seeing what the left-wing blogs are doing, and what they're doing is trying to wipe out people, as you said, carpet bomb them. And if this starts to domino down, then you're not going to have any commentary at all.
Well, no, we need commentary, but we need honest commentary.
You bet.
And they need to be, everybody needs to be held accountable. I'm held accountable when I was an elected official. You're held accountable when people come after you. It just seems that the left are never held accountable. I mean, this woman has called me a crook. You just saw her on today saying that, making fun of me and my morals. I've been found guilty of nothing. I've been through 11 years of ethics, frivolous ethics charges, all dismissed. I even had a RICO suit, a racketeering suit filed against me. I'm presently under indictment for laws that don't exist in Texas by a NIFONG of Texas called Ronnie Earl, undermining our justice system here in Texas. There is no evidence whatsoever that I'm immoral, number one, or a crook, number two.
See, I don't think you even have to justify her statement with that. I mean, I just wanted to prove to the audience that what she said and what Frank Rich said were so out of context that now they know who the true liars are and the true people who have moral deficits. But you don't have to do that. The record shows that, you know, you served your country. They may not like you, but you're a public servant who's walking around free right now. Now, your book basically says that people have to stand up and fight against this stuff. And I agree with you. I mean, we have to fight against the Rosie O'Donnells and New York Times of the world, or this country's going.
Well, Bill, that's exactly what my book talks about. I call Republicans, and most importantly, the conservative movement, to return to our basic principles of order, justice, and freedom. I tell people what I believe in, and I suggest an agenda to fight for the future, and it's all there in the book. We need to put the past behind us and look forward, and conservatives come together and unite and fight against what's going on out there.
Yeah, listen, I hope they do, Mr. DeLay, because it's certainly out of control right now. And most Americans don't like this. They really don't. I appreciate you coming on, and we have plenty more.